WSAZ News Channel 3, 6 o'clock.
Now at 6, sexual assault, a baby in critical condition, and a man behind bars as disturbing details surface.
Plus, biting members of law enforcement, hepatitis C, and death threats. His alleged crime spree spans 2 counties at least, while we're learning about a dangerous man who is no longer on the run. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Barren in Charleston.
And I'm Timmy Irr in Huntington. Thanks for joining us. First tonight, a baby is in critical condition after deputies say this man, Benjamin Ryan Taylor from Cottageville, sexually assaulted a 9-month-old child.
First responders say this is one of the worst sexual assault cases they've ever seen. News Channel 3's Katie Anderson reports Taylor has a criminal history, and you might be surprised to find out what WSAZ discovered on his social media accounts.
This man, Benjamin Taylor, is now behind bars after deputies say he sexually assaulted a 9-month-old baby. The baby is now in critical condition at CAMC General Hospital. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department responded to this neighborhood in Ripley early Monday morning, where the mother says she was sleeping but woke up to find her baby unresponsive with Taylor nearby.
I've not encountered anything of this nature as long as I've been here.
Jackson County Sheriff Tony Boggs says 3 other children were in the home at the time of the assault. According to the criminal complaint, evidence shows the baby was violently shaken and suffered head trauma. The complaint also says there was a significant amount of blood on and around the baby.
It's tough on everybody. Everybody's human, and I think your average person cannot fathom a crime of this nature.
Court records show Taylor has a criminal past. In 2011, he pled guilty to stealing and was placed on home confinement, but violated it twice. And here on one of his social media accounts, it reads, "I will never apologize for being a sex freak."
Heart went out to her because she has so many children. And,
Regina Curry, who lives nearby, says the family has only lived in the neighborhood for a couple of months, but says she would help watch the kids.
Mostly the kids will come here and want to play and call her and, make cookies or whatever I could do. I keep them busy. That's what they like.
She says with so many little kids around, neighbors are always on watch. But neighbors say they never saw this coming. Katie Anderson, WSAZ News Channel 3, Jackson County.
Taylor is being held at the South Central Regional Jail on a $2 million bond. Race relations between police departments and their communities are in the news weekly. Here in Charleston, there is work being done behind the scenes to prevent tragic headlines from taking over. WSAZ Charleston's Chad Hedrick explains the partnership and plans are more than a year in the making.
We've seen the riots and racial tensions all across the nation.
I've watched people who look like me be killed by police.
And now community leaders and police in Charleston are making sure they do what they can to prevent similar tragedies from happening here at home. They're partnering with the Call to Action for Racial Equality Coalition and other groups to increase education and decrease tension amongst minorities and the police by introducing several initiatives to increase safety for all, a project that's 14 months in the making.
So I think with these initiatives, we have to make sure we walk the walk.
The initiatives include police body cameras set to be introduced to officers in November. The department will also start releasing monthly arrest statistics showing race, age, gender, and cause of arrests to educate police and citizens about crime trends.
I know that in the African American community that things like racial disparities and arrests and community and police relations is in the forefront of our minds.
Takaya Smith is the co-chair of the CARE Coalition and is a student studying criminal justice at West Virginia State. And she says this all started from her desire to make a difference about the issues she's witnessed.
I am here today because I want to do something real about the issues that I see and I have experienced. I am here today because I see and feel all of the passion that is coming from young people of color in this country, and I want to honor that passion.
Making a difference and making sure this is prevented in Charleston. Chad Hedrick, WSAZ News Channel 3, Charleston.
Now, Huntington's Police Chief Joe Ciccarelli says leaders meet frequently to talk about race relations, and officers there are actually set for a training later this week. 3 people are wanted by Hurricane Police tonight for stealing from a floral shop. It happened before 2 this afternoon at the shop on Main Street. Police say 2 men and a woman took $170 right out of the register. They took off running over the train tracks and toward Lower Virginia Avenue. We spoke with the shop owner this afternoon. She says a woman had just come in to pay for a funeral display before the theft happened.
And she had just paid that cash, and that's what they took. And to me, you know, people who get out and work every day hard, people who have spent their money on somebody, such a sad occasion, and then somebody just walk in and just take it.
Scary for them too. Police are not sure if they were armed. They were wearing mostly dark clothing. One of them was wearing brown baggy pants. We're learning more tonight about a dangerous fugitive who was on the run for a week. It involves a threat of a mass shooting, a hospital stay which ended in unexpected freedom, and hepatitis C worries. We're talking about Grant Kroll. He was arrested Monday. WSAZ Charleston's Dan Klein has been tracking the details which are laid out in criminal complaints. They span 2 counties, and he was arraigned this morning, so we learned a whole lot more about his past.
That's right, Amanda. It's quite a saga for the last 6 weeks or so. Grant Kroll was arraigned by video conference from the South Central Regional Jail today. We can now tell you his most recent troubles with the law began back in late August. According to court documents, he told the manager of a gas station that if he went back to jail and lost contact with his son, he was going to go to the day report facility in Putnam County and kill everyone there with his shotgun. The manager called Winfield Police, leading to a charge of making a terroristic threat in Putnam County. About a week later, while he was in custody on unrelated charges in Kanawha County, he was taken to the hospital with medical issues. As we've already reported, after he recovered last week, he was able to walk to freedom because Dunbar Police couldn't afford to keep an officer stationed there, and the hospital was prohibited from contacting them because of HIPAA laws. It wasn't until yesterday that an officer spotted him, and it wasn't easy to bring him in.
Tried to reach for my radio. I dropped it the first time we had fought with him too, so I didn't have a radio to tell anybody where I was at. It was just hold on to him until somebody found me.
Kroll remains in jail on a $100,000 cash bond, and Amanda, Dunbar Police are still looking for Joshua Edens, the man who was with Kroll yesterday right before his arrest.
That's because he told police that Grant Kroll's name was Chris. Thanks, Dan. Kroll faces 5 misdemeanors and a felony in Putnam County, as well as 4 charges in Kanawha County, including malicious assault on a police officer. In Decision 2016, it's the first gubernatorial debate, a showdown between the candidates, billionaire Democrat Jim Justice, an owner of the Greenbrier, and Senate President and businessman Republican Bill Cole. The debate is being sponsored by AARP, and the candidates are expected to answer questions about retirement security and how to make West Virginia more friendly to people of all ages. WSAZ Charleston's Nathan Takich is live at the Clay Center, where the debate will get underway in less than an hour. Nathan.
Well, plenty of differences between the 2 candidates tonight, Amanda, but this debate appears like it might hinge on one similarity between Bill Cole and Jim Justice, and that's their business acumen. Both candidates have been working on kind of a Donald Trump-esque strategy of promoting themselves as businessmen and job creators and shying away from major political experience. Bill Cole is a prominent governmental figure right now as the state president, the state Senate president, but his team says they plan on showing his career has always been business first, but that a good political mix will help out. They want to present a concrete plan for West Virginia, and they want to press Jim Justice about what they call vague promises for the state and ask him to present a more specific plan tonight. On the other side, Jim Justice's campaign, they're keeping things simple. When asked about his plan for attack tonight, his crew just said they're going to let Jim Justice be Jim Justice and show he's going to connect the people. As for what that means exactly, Amanda, we're going to have to wait until the questions start flying at 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, a debate that people have been wanting to see for a while. Nathan, thanks. We'll be streaming the debate for you tonight on WSAZ.com, and Nathan will be back with a recap for you tonight at 10 on the CW and right here on WSAZ at 11. Now, one of the topics both candidates will likely face tonight and in the future, jobs and how to grow the economy in West Virginia. That topic was front and center today at the Economic Outlook Conference in Charleston. The president of the Federal Reserve Bank in Richmond, Virginia, presented the U.S. economic forecast, followed by the presentation of West Virginia's economic outlook by researchers at WVU. We told you about that last week. They say it's been a year of unprecedented challenges, from job losses and the massive decline of the coal industry industry. To move the state forward, they say the best approach is supporting entrepreneurship and small businesses and finding ways to grow other sectors, not just energy.
I think manufacturing has a lot of potential. I think there's potential with tourism and hospitality. Other industries have potential as well, but the real bottom line is that I don't know all the answers and nobody knows all the answers. What we need to foster is an entrepreneurial climate.
And of course, the flooding this summer didn't help moving that forward. That's what economic experts are saying as well. It's a big night nationally for the vice presidential candidates. This is a live look at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia, where Republican Mike Pence and Democrat Tim Kaine will answer questions at their first and only debate. It's going to kick off at 9 o'clock. A lot is expected out of these two. After 84 million viewers tuned into last week's presidential debate, Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Paula Castro is there with a look at the venue, the candidates, and the voters who support them.
Some people are calling this debate the Battle of the Nice Guys. It's a chance for voters across the country to finally get to know the vice presidential candidates. Just past the corner of Main and High, Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia is hosting the first and only vice presidential debate. There's a charming downtown with American pride on display.
We have once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to share this special place with the world.
Local Bob Browning plans to vote for Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Pence is the governor of Indiana and served more than a decade in Congress.
I hope it's going to be a civil debate. No mudslinging. Let's hear about the facts and what you're going to do and move on.
The town and its nearly 200-year-old college is steeped in history. It's a place where the final hours of the Civil War unfolded, and a student strike helped launch the modern civil rights movement.
Well, you know, Senator Kaine has always been an advocate for civil rights.
Tykeem Cooper is the local Democratic Party chair. He says Clinton's team is ready to lead. Her vice presidential candidate, Tim Kaine, served as mayor of Richmond, governor, and now senator of Virginia.
We will have more well-thought-out solutions and responses to questions.
And in this town, when it comes to politics, personality and character matter. Voters here say they're expecting a good old-fashioned debate. If that's the case, this seems like the perfect place to host it. Reporting in Farmville, Virginia, I'm Jacqueline Paula Castro.
All right, and we'll be airing the debate right here on WSAZ starting at 9 o'clock. And we'll have a recap for you on the CW at 10 and here on WSAZ at 11. The merger of Cabell Huntington Hospital and St. Mary's Medical Center played out in a courtroom today, and it was all about documents. A group opposing the merger wants information that the Attorney General has, but he says no. As WSAZ Charleston's Blaine Carraher explains, now it's up to a judge to decide.
Well, they're looking to get their hands on about 350 documents, but the Attorney General's office says they shouldn't have to give them up. Steel of West Virginia is trying to obtain the set of documents through the Freedom of Information Act, but today the Deputy Attorney General Robert Leslie said in Kanawha County Circuit Court that this set of documents is exempt from FOIA. He says that every document that deals with the hospital merger falls within an antitrust investigation and that it doesn't have to be released. Steel of West Virginia's attorney says if the investigation is over, the exemption shouldn't hold up.
Once the investigation is concluded, once the decision has been made, which in this case was the execution and filing of the assurance of voluntary compliance, communications about how we're going to circulate that agreement or explain that decision to the public aren't protected.
The circuit court judge is now going to review the documents after the Attorney General hands them over to the court by noon on Friday. Upon his review, he'll decide whether or not the documents should be released over to Steel of West Virginia.
Blaine, thanks. The Attorney General told WSAZ in a statement today they hope after the court's review, the judge will honor what they're calling the rule of the law. The final signs of smoking in Charleston city parks are almost gone. On Monday, the city removed ashtrays at Davis Park. You might remember back in December, Charleston Council passed a bill to ban smoking in all city-owned parks. Since then, they've been working on cleaning up cigarette butts and putting up signs reminding folks that you can't smoke there.
At the request of the state DHHR, who's housed right beside that park, been working with them, getting some new signage put up and removing the butt urns, receptacles.
Hill says even though smoking is banned in the parks, people can still just walk to the sidewalks and find another place to smoke. Still ahead for you here at 6, reopening businesses damaged by flooding, a place for prescriptions, food, and pharmacy items back open in Clendenin.
All right, expect more warm weather, at least by day. I'll have your complete forecast next on WSAZ Charleston.
First warning weather.
Here's your weather in motion today through our West Virginia Laundry Weather Cam. In Charleston, showing us some fog this morning and some gray, gloomy clouds, followed by some nice, warm sunshine this afternoon and high temperatures about 80 degrees. Hello, I'm meteorologist Josh Fitzpatrick in for Tony tonight. Let's get you ready for the rest of your Tuesday evening. Temperatures falling from 80 now into the 70s at sunset, upper 60s by 9, 10, and 11 o'clock when you join us for News Channel 3 tonight at 11, and 50s by dawn with a little bit more fog. Upper 70s and low 80s from Portsmouth to Charleston, Huntington, Ashland to Ironton, 60s over the mountain counties already. Just a few clouds in our sky as we saw on the time lapse across our area, but nothing in the way of rain clouds anytime soon as high pressure will keep us nice and dry. No weather worries at all. The active weather stays to our west. Tornado watches across areas of Oklahoma and into Kansas right now, but this front as it moves east will weaken, so only a little bit of a rain chance on Saturday, and it will bring down some much cooler air. An update on powerful Hurricane Matthew. There it is beginning ready to make a second landfall now, this time over the eastern tip of Cuba. Here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Winds of 140 miles per hour, Category 4 hurricane. Put a track on it now over the next couple days. On Thursday, it moves across the Bahamas as a Category 4 hurricane, and then it will parallel the east coast of Florida very close on Friday from Daytona on up into Jacksonville. And then on Saturday morning, it will get very close to North and South Carolina border here around Myrtle Beach, Cape Fear, and also Wilmington as a Category 2 hurricane, winds of 100 miles per hour, and then it should stay out to sea later on Sunday. But here locally, no direct impacts from Matthew anytime soon as it will stay well to our southeast. Let's detail your forecast. In your first warning report tonight across the Kanawha Valley, temperatures will begin to fall through the 60s and then 50s by dawn. A little bit of fog across the Kanawha, Little Kanawha, and the Elk River valleys. Otherwise, low to mid 50s to start. And then Wednesday afternoon, great weather as we kick off the Rod Run and Doo-Wop car show in town. Mostly sunny skies, warmer conditions, highs in the low 80s. And here's your Kanawha Valley 7-day forecast. Low 80s on Thursday and Friday, and lows in the 50s. A small shower chance later Saturday as a cold front moves through. Highs in the 70s Saturday, and then we fall to the 60s on Sunday and about 70 on Monday and Tuesday. So one shot of rain later on Saturday. Until then, Amanda, is looking nice and dry for the rest of the work and school week.
All right, Josh, thanks. Well, after operating out of a temporary pharmacy all summer because of flood damage, the Rite Aid in Clendenin is finally back open. The store on Elk River Road North celebrated with an official ribbon cutting this morning. The rebuilt store features a well-being format. It's designed to reflect the company's commitment to provide services, products, and resources to keep folks healthy. The new Rite Aid also has a drive-through pharmacy lane and an expanded food department.
When our customers came in the store, they were so excited they had somewhere to come in and shop and buy their stuff that they need, where, you know, they wouldn't have to drive all the way to Charleston.
This afternoon, the Elkview Rite Aid location at Elk Plaza also celebrated its reopening. Rite Aid has 103 stores in West Virginia. Still ahead here at 6, what are the Mountaineers doing with a week off? And we're talking about the Mean Green all this week as the herd heads to North Texas.
And good evening, everyone. Jim Tracy with sports. It's a safe bet that not many Marshall fans are getting in a car to check out the next road game for the herd, because if they were, they better leave now, because Denton, Texas is a 1,000-mile drive from here. Almost a year ago, the Mean Green came to Huntington and were beaten by the herd 30-13. A 17-point first quarter was the difference. Chase Litton threw for 189 yards. Hylick Foster, Remy Green almost ran for that same amount by themselves. Doesn't matter what happened last year, though. Doc Holliday knows that being on the road in a state like Texas will be a challenge. It always is.
When you're playing all these teams in Texas and in Florida and all these teams, the recruiting base they have, they're going to have some players now. I mean, mean, we can sit there and look at what their record is and what they've done and all this, but you go look at them on tape. They got guys that can run and play, and they should, because they're located right in the middle of a big-time talent base. They're playing with great energy. They're flying around. They're really solid in special teams, and we got to make sure again that we've got a great week of preparation starting over as conference play.
Now to West Virginia. Despite being off this week, don't expect any Mountaineer football coaches to soak up some sun at the beach. But they will be traveling, though. Now ranked and unbeaten, they have some good news they can tell recruits.
I feel like we got some momentum in recruiting finally, to where we'll take advantage of that. You know, you can't get out there and go talk to them, but you can be visible. Talk to them on the phone and you know, text message with them, do the Twitter thing, all that good stuff. But just being visible and supporting guys that you want at games, I think, is very important.
The surprise of college football last weekend was Indiana beating then number 17 Michigan State, and the Hoosiers come to the Horseshoe this Saturday. That win sure has gotten Urban Meyer's attention and knows what is needed to beat upset-minded Indiana.
You know, anytime you have great defense, that's just the way the game of football is. You have great defense, things are going to get usually rolling for you at some point, even if you struggle a little bit. And then the fact that you have, you know, J.T. Barrett running the show, it's pretty smooth. He's even when he makes a mistake, it's not a usually it's not an awful one.
And finally, an emotional day in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, as Ricky Fowler, Phil Mickelson, and Bubba Watson brought the Ryder Cup to Arnold Palmer's funeral. The King passed away last week. During his speech today, Jack Nicklaus quoted from Vin Scully, "Don't be sad it's over. Smile because it happened."
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Nightly News is up next. We'll see you at 10 and 11.